Be very, very quiet. We're hunting Jiminy's. How's it going? How's it going, Peter? Yeah, I'm gonna need you to
Stephen running.
come in on
Hi, Nay.
this Saturday and play a little catch up. Maybe Sunday too.
I can't be going on Sunday. I have things I have to do.
Play a little catch up. Gotta play a little catch up. Steven, what's up? Jimmy, what's up? What's up, everybody? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the show. 3 times a day. We do this every
Patrick John Welder.
every day of every week of every month.
Good
of every
morning,
year.
May.
We never stop. Patrick John Welder is here. Hello, Patrick. How's it going? So I was lucky enough to catch a great interview. And you know what's funny is I saw this guy a long time ago because I was watching, people that debunk people like Robert Campbell and John Campbell and Robert Malone. And I was watching Back to the Science, and this other guy came up, and this guy with this crazy fro. And I watched him, and I shared him, and I told people, you guys should go check this guy out. I talked about him on the show. And I retweeted the guy and stuff. Never really heard much more about him after that. But Jordan Sheridan found him, and Jordan Sheridan interviewed the guy. And the guy is like maybe one of the worst interviewees I've ever seen in my entire life. He talks very slowly. He's boring to listen to. Mostly. He's boring to listen to, and he talks very slowly. So it makes it kind of a challenge to listen to him. But the good thing is everything he says makes sense. And if you speed up the video and you listen to him in what sounds like real time, it's perfect. He chooses his words very carefully and very slowly. And, that presents a problem when you're in the podcast realm and you want to hear things quickly. Right? You can see Jordan Sheridan getting a little, frustrated maybe might not be the right word, but just kind of, he's just kind of trudging through this interview with this guy. He's just trying to help him along, but it's very slow paced. It's an hour long, but it feels like 6 hours, right? I'm going to play parts of it for you, or the whole thing, I don't know, in high speed. So we get through it a lot quicker. And I would highly recommend that you seek this guy out and go follow his channel. One of his podcasts that he put up, one of his uploads, he's wearing a t-shirt and it just says, "This is what a scientist looks like," on his t-shirt. And I just love that, because people like Jimmy Dore wouldn't know a scientist if one came out and
Billy Ballantyne
and showed him,
Morning.
the
I hate slow talkers.
the cure for cancer.
I fall asleep.
Jimmy still wouldn't know he was talking to a
Ben
scientist.
Stein can take off, eh?
Yeah. Hey, Billy. Yeah, slow talking is not for me. It'll just really, when you listen to this guy, Jordan Sheridan's like, "Hey, welcome to my show. Thanks
Billy
for coming here, man. I
Bonthornton.
want to get everything we can possibly in
Well,
one go.
hello.
Thanks for coming on." So my first question is, what do you feel was the most terrible thing? And the guy's like, "Well, I think that when, and he's like that, and you're like, whoa." And then you realize you look at Jordan, and you realize Jordan is realizing what he just got himself into. And literally by the second question, Jordan says, "Okay, let's just kick this into a lightning round." And I'm laughing. I'm like, "Yeah, you better kick this into lightning round, bro. You better let him know. No, hey, let's pick things up a little bit here, pal. You're going too slow for a podcast." But that's it. The guy's slow. He just talks slowly. Play him in fast motion. Problem solved. What are you trying to say, Jimmy? Spit out the words.
That's the thing about scientists. They're usually not socially
I know.
like a podcast.
Right.
So if you find someone like that, you probably want to listen to them.
Right.
been in class. The whole
You
life.
said the exact same thing about
Billy
Back to the
Ballantyne.
Science.
Yeah,
Sounds
yeah,
like Ian
exactly, yeah.
Aspie. Logan tokes the flower. Mornin' Tay.
Close enough. What's up, Logan? Can I call you Bogan since you call me Tay? What's up, Bogan Tokes the Flower? How's it going, bro? Did I make you laugh first thing? Good, because you made me laugh first thing, too. It's a good thing.
Logan tokes
No, it's
the
okay.
flower.
I don't care what you call me, bro.
They socially
You
accustomed.
can call me Ray, or you,
Logan
you
tokes
can
the
call me
flower.
Jay. They aren't socially
bad dude.
accustomed. Right. No, not your bad. I'm just messing with you. Maybe too early to mess with people in the morning, but I just kind of have that, hey, kind of attitude today. So, I do want to go to this video a little bit.
Logan tokes the flower.
And
Me so stoned. Good morning.
me, not yet. But
Logan
me
tokes
soon,
the
hopefully.
flower.
Me want to
YKKK.
show you show on me computer. If you will watch me show you
Airnide.
the show.
Good morning,
Me so
Nay.
stoned, dude. You just started a whole thing. Me
Logan
show you
tokes the
video now.
Hell yeah, dude.
Me so stoned.
Okay, check this video out, because it goes to everything that I ever talk about on this show, which is truth. I just try to promote the truth. And if I don't know the truth and somebody can come in here and straighten me out, great. I just want to be on the side of the truth all the time. Check this out.
Hey, it's Jordan with Status Quo. Delighted to be joined by Dr. Dan Wilson. Dr. Wilson, you are a molecular biologist that covers a lot of things in terms of
Where's the
COVID,
speed?
among other topics. You have a YouTube channel, Debunk the Funk, which I recommend people subscribing to. And you have been swatting away a lot of misinformation, like flies, and there's a lot of it. First, can you kind of describe for the layman what molecular biology is? And
Watch how
what
slow
other
it gets. Watch how slow it
Yeah,
gets.
sure. So molecular biology is kind of a broad field of biology where essentially we're looking at how the molecules of life work in a cell. So proteins, DNA, RNA, lipids, sugars, carbohydrates, all those things perform specific functions in cells, and molecular biologists just generally study how that works.
Now all of a sudden you're in real time, right? It's like listening to him speak normally, right? This is 1.75 times faster than normal, guys.
And
That's how slow he's talking.
before COVID, obviously there were anti-vaxxers and cranks and, on a variety of things. But to me, it seems that since COVID became a tragic event,
Got
years ago,
COVID.
it's
Got
almost been like this
COVID.
renaissance
Billy
of
Ballantyne.
conspiracy theorists, et cetera, et cetera.
I
Not
want that
there's,
guy to sing
no
hits
credence
from
to
his own.
science or fact presenting.
Logan
But before we get
tokes
into
the
the
totally
flower.
looks like
have you seen anything like this?
You're
Series
right.
of just the hamster
It's
wheel
from
of
the
misinformation and lies, and
bong.
as well
I know,
as
you're-
just basic misunderstanding of how
It's
you
so
even
funny Billy
read
said that.
studies, data, and people
Anyway,
just kind of
speaking
casually,
of which-
creating false narratives.
Yeah.
No
and I
longer
think that
grinding cannabis.
has been
Jimmy,
around
cheers.
for a long time. All
Logan,
of those
cheers.
things you
Billy,
mentioned
cheers.
have been
Aaron,
present,
I,
in
cheers.
one form or another
Everybody that's
in
over
one
on the Rumble
field or one
sphere,
topic or another.
Notlin,
But, yeah,
cheers.
since COVID has
Refreshing
entered the
that
scene and
page,
kind
see
of
what our number
made it
is
so that
over
infectious disease
there.
is now affecting people's
Yeah,
lives.
cool,
There are
man.
policies
Cheers.
forming around it. Governments are getting
Oh,
involved.
clean. You might
Now
notice
people
Logan
are,
tokes the flower.
as you said,
You might notice the
revitalizing
glass
all
is
of that.
clean
Cypress
again.
speed.
When it comes to
Yes,
anti-vaccines,
again.
Logan
Why?
tokes the
Because I
flower.
cleaned
Around
my
COVID
glass
and
again
When I
today.
started my YouTube channel just
So you
before
guys would
COVID,
have nice clean
I
glass.
wanted to just cover
Cheers.
anti-vaxxers, and I
I
thought
figured
that
you'd like
knowing
that and
I'll have
appreciate it.
maybe a couple hundred subscribers, and it'll be a fun side project for me. But now, it's grown into this explosion of misinformation and disinformation that I didn't really see coming at the outset of starting my channel. So,
Right.
yeah, but I think it is kind of
Logan tokes
familiar.
the flower.
In the spirit of not giving you 5 hours,
WW.
I kind of want to do a lightning round of just the top, conspiracies we've been hearing that they say, the Russell Brands of the world, Jimmy Dores of the world, Dr. John Campbell, Robert Malone, et cetera, that they've advocated for. I want to start with vitamin D, which is a good thing to take for a variety of reasons. Most people, I think, in North America are, in some way deficient vitamin D wise, but it's kind of taken on a life of its own that people have advocated that this whole time, if people would have jacked up the amount of vitamin D they take, that it could have prevented getting COVID or limited the consequences, limited deaths, hospitalization of vitamin D. Is there any, peer-reviewed ample studies that show that?
Yeah, so with the vitamin D topic, there are a lot of weird things that conspiracy theorists will say about it that are wrong. But then it's also important to know that there are some things about vitamin D that are true and helpful. So I'll just start with what's wrong. Anti-vaxxers often like to say that the efficacy of vitamin D against COVID was suppressed because it doesn't make big pharma money. That's not true. Vitamin D, one, doesn't work in treatment of COVID, and two, it would have made a ton of money for companies that sell it. And pharmaceutical companies can sell vitamins if they so choose. But vitamins on their own are billion-dollar industries in America alone. So they'd be a big moneymaker if they were an answer to an imminent pandemic. So the claim that vitamin D treats COVID is also, as I said, wrong. It's kind of trending on the internet right now thanks to John Campbell, who reviewed a review of vitamin D. And the review of vitamin D was looking at studies that use vitamin
And
D.
I'm just going to pause right here, and I'm just going to say it's trending, right, from John Campbell, right, who's misrepresenting the facts, right, who's being amplified by who? Jimmy Dore, all the time. And this guy over here, this other guy right here, this guy's a real scientist, okay? And Jimmy Dore isn't. And he, all the time on his YouTube channel, you can go see all the debunks that this guy has done. He's got a ton of videos. You go listen to what a real scientist says about all the bullshit that you hear from people like Jimmy Dore and John Campbell and morons out there like Robert Malone and idiots out there that just tack on and they don't know what they're saying and they have no idea how to even read a study. And then he goes through when he's gonna get Jimmy really good on here. Jimmy pulls a study out and he starts trying to read it and he's reading it incorrectly, and this guy corrects everything that Jimmy misrepresents with Jordan, and it's really good. So
to treat COVID patients. And so
hang in there.
The study claims to have looked at 5 randomized controlled trials.
We're already 5 minutes in, so we're good.
So
we're doing good.
That's a big oopsie
It's
for the
moving right
authors.
along.
That's honestly a really big mistake. I don't know
Almost
how that got
6
through.
minutes.
But the other 4 are all very small. 3 of them are fewer than 100 people. One of them is about, I think it was just over 200 people. That one over 200 people showed no efficacy. The other 3 with fewer than 100 showed efficacy. So that alone is not very convincing, but for some reason the authors of that review did not include a very large randomized controlled trial, which involved about 3,100 people, that convincingly showed that vitamin D does not treat COVID.
Vitamin D does not treat COVID, right? Very simple study. The other thing I just want to remind you is, can you believe that we're listening to this guy at 1.75 speed? And he sounds totally, and you can hear every word he's saying.
COVID and you start taking vitamin D, there's no evidence that
In
it's going
normal
to
Billy
time,
Valentine.
prevent more severe outcomes or anything like that.
Jimmy
So,
thinks he's a
all.
scientist because he holds a gold membership to the Science Channel.
I don't even think he's got that. I don't even think he's got a membership to the. I don't think he watches anything that's actual Science Pro. And if he does, he doesn't subscribe to it. It's weird.
Kind of what's wrong with the way
And
anti-vaxxers are looking
they
at
go
vitamin D.
after this.
And I also want to point out,
They're
because
like,
he's commented
why?
on the channel.
Why does Jimmy Dore
I've seen a
lie?
trend where
And
Dr.
they
John
talk
Campbell and
about
others,
that.
if you want to give them the benefit of the doubt,
And-
they just forget.
And you know what their answer is? We don't know. We can't figure it out. No one can figure out why Jimmy Dore literally just lies to his audience. No one can figure it out. There's plenty of debunking out there. There's plenty of science out there that shows that he's wrong, and he acts like he's not exposed to it, he doesn't hear it, or he doesn't share it with his audience or whatever, but nobody knows why.
Billy Valentine. Sorry, I meant Sci-Fi Channel.
Oh, the Sci-Fi Channel. I got you. I thought you were going to say like Ancient Aliens. Yeah, he's a gold member to Ancient Aliens.
Prove a point or support whatever argument they're making, they cite studies, but they leave out a lot of other studies that probably are more people in the study, better data, more peer reviewed, that do not support their point.
Right. It's a tactic called cherry picking. Scientific literature is a large body of
It's
several
a
different
tactic called cherry picking, and that is the only thing that Jimmy Dore does to his audience. He does it because it's out of confirmation bias that you cherry pick. You only find the things that confirm your bias, and you don't put anything else out there that might prove you wrong. See, I have to prove myself wrong on here all the time, and it sucks. But that's just me, and maybe that's why I don't have 1 million followers, because I don't Donald Trump double down on every lie that I ever told. And maybe people respect that. Maybe that's the way your father was. Yeah, hey, you know what? Fuck your father. If that's the way your father was. I'm sorry that I can't do this and bring millions of people to watch me for getting it wrong sometimes, but that's the way I'm going to keep it on here.
pieces of work from
Hey, Joel.
Notified.
Good. I'm glad you got your notification. Good.
several different groups from all over the world. And if you're going to look into a field and ask a question, you should be looking at several papers and seeing, okay, what are the questions each paper is asking? How well does the paper answer that question? And are they consistent with other papers that did the same thing? And John Campbell doesn't do that. There are several examples where he will claim that a certain treatment is effective against COVID, but conveniently not cover any randomized control trial on his channel that convincingly shows that it doesn't work for COVID.
Right. I want to start with Jimmy Dore because I think he perhaps,
Here we go.
even more than John Campbell in the political realm where I cover, has a lot of people listening to him. He proclaims to be, kind of.
I've got to stop right here. I do not like Jordan Sheridan. As a person, I don't like him. Okay? I'd like to fight him. That's how I feel about him. At the same time, I've got to give Jordan Sheridan credit here because I know how he feels about Jimmy Dore. He basically feels the same way about Jimmy Dore that I feel about Jordan Sheridan, right? He doesn't like Jimmy Dore. And he's made it clear that he doesn't like Jimmy Dore. For whatever his reasons are, he doesn't like him. And I got to give Jordan Sheridan credit here for the way he opens up this Jimmy Dore narrative here by not going after Jimmy Dore personally at all. He's just bringing the facts, he's just doing reporting, and he's leaving all of his bias out. So once again, listen to Jordan Sheridan bring in Jimmy Dore and not bias against him. It's pretty amazing to watch. And very professional Jordan Sheridan. I am giving him credit for this.
On his channel that convincingly shows that it doesn't work for COVID.
Right. I want to start with Jimmy Dore because I think he, perhaps, even more than John Campbell, in the political realm where I cover, has a lot of people listening to him. He proclaims to be, kind of a pothead comedian, but seems to talk about COVID like he should be listened to, and he knows what he's talking about. And I want to start with this clip because I think it shows
pretty good, right?
Not just Jimmy, but anybody, including myself. It's very in this clip. It's actually, he should know the difference between percentages and other things, but it shows it's not necessarily easy to understand scientific studies. I mean, most people that really get it are, went to school for this.
I love
very
this
easy to get
slanted
confused
TV, man.
by
This is the
scientific
best.
studies, but people like Jimmy and others seem to think
it.
they, are scholars and understand scientific studies and are routinely just confusing or worse, basic concepts. I'll start with this, as you pointed out in a video on your channel, where Jimmy seems to not get the difference between percentages or per a study that's per 100,000 people.
So here's the chart.
Now,
unvaccinated still die at a much higher.
once again, you might look at that and say, God, that was pretty harsh, Jordan. But it's not, because it's totally correct. Jimmy totally screws this up, and Jordan is just relaying the facts of what you're about to see.
Rate. The share of deaths among vaccinated people has risen, but the rate of death is still many times
Happy
higher among
420,
unvaccinated
everybody.
people.
No longer
In January and
going
February,
Jiminy,
unvaccinated
cheers,
people
Joel Froggy,
died at about
Billy
7 times the
Valentine,
rate of
Logan
fully
takes the flower,
vaccinated
took
and
the
20
flower.
times the rate. I don't like when they
Mountain
use
over
that
on the
20
sphere.
and 10 times.
Cheers,
That's a
all of
deceitful
you.
number.
Cannabis isn't just
When they tell you that instead, why don't they give me the raw data? What percentage of people died?
Jimmy, Jimbo, Jimothy, you seem confused. Here, read the graph and you'll see that it is a rate per 100,000. It is not a percent, but you could get a percent from that if you really wanted to calculate it. The fact that this is a rate per 100,000 people literally means that unvaccinated people did die at 20 times the rate of vaccinated people when it comes to COVID. This is literally as simple as reading the graph in front of you. I don't know why this is a hard ask from someone with a large audience talking about this stuff who claims to know what he's talking about. Man.
Is that what it says down there by your arm? It's like 0.2%, 0.4, 3.4. Is that what that means, those numbers?
So yeah, so 0.04% to 0.34%. That's right. So the fully vaccinated died at 0.4%, and the unvaccinated, according to this, were 3.4%. So that's an increase of about 3%.
watch.
No, Jimmy, this is a rate per 100,000 people graph. This is not a percent graph. The figures that you're pointing to show that at the tail end of the Omicron wave, unvaccinated people were dying at 8.5 times the rate of vaccinated people. And at the peak of the Omicron wave, it was 20 times more death for unvaccinated relative to vaccinated. And if you look at the line for 3 doses, it's even better than for 2 doses, which is consistent with every other data set that we have.
The bottom line is, forgetting the actual topic, you could tell that he's basically trying to figure it out, like during the video. You could tell, like, 3%, this and that. So if somebody, like for me, I might have trouble with something like that. I did not do well in math as a student, so I wouldn't do a video on it.
Right.
I would not pretend that I know what I'm talking about. I might have.
So there is the first criticism from Jordan, and it's perfectly fair. He even depreciates on himself a little bit, self-deprecates, whatever the word is. He says, I wouldn't have been able to figure that out. I'm not that smart, me too. But Jimmy should be fair enough to his audience to admit that as well. To not sit there and act like he's a scientist looking at a graph and he's like, oh, they got this all wrong. This doesn't even make sense. Blah, 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 blah. He comes off sounding like an idiot. And what happens here is Jordan Sheridan comes out smelling like roses with this scientist that's backing up every word that he's saying. You know? Jordan wants to come on my show and you want to discuss your sexual assault situation and why you didn't go live, why you didn't go around and interview about it, and why you tried to have the victim of that crime silenced, why you threatened Tim Pool. Jordan, you threatened Tim Pool with legal action if he had your victim of sexual assault on his show. You want to come on my show and talk about that? We could talk about that first, Jordan, before you and I can talk about anything else. All right? You settle that shit first. and then we can address some other shit. Because this is something that kind of interests me, and it's just too bad that you've got so much freaking baggage that you're toting along with you right now.
Have somebody like you on. But we see this with Jimmy and these others constantly, that they, if you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, just in good faith are misunderstanding or misinterpreting, but they're doing whole videos on it with controversial, sensational headlines, which then go viral to, I don't know, minimize, that try to make it seem like it's not so much worse if you're unvaccinated. Can you kind of describe, in that case, he obviously doesn't know the difference or how to read the graph, but you see this time and time again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to really pinpoint why particular people do what they do. Like, yeah, we can say,
how'd my volume
okay,
get up
in
to
good
100%?
faith, maybe he's just confused, or maybe he's doing it on purpose. We don't know.
Did I do
But,
that? I guess I did.
he's getting something out of it. Some core of his belief system resonates with the idea that COVID vaccines aren't working and that they're manipulating data. So that's what he portrays on his show. And it's unfortunate that so many people like him do that kind of thing, where they don't have expertise in a field, or they don't really have any
See how
really,
slow
even
he
basic
talks?
knowledge in
I'll speed him up.
interpreting data, but they just try to. There's a really good book, The Death of Expertise, which kind of explains this phenomenon, where because people have access to a lot of information on the internet, they can kind of get this skewed sense of the assuredness of their knowledge in any one field, even if they don't really know much about it.
Right.
So, it's a really interesting topic, but.
And it's also not just him, but I've seen this trend, and I've seen this in journalism too, from really shitty journalists, where it's you've drawn your conclusion first, and you're trying to find facts to then support that conclusion. So you've drawn the conclusion, for whatever reason, that there's no real difference between being unvaccinated and vaccinated, or the vaccine is bad, and now you're just fishing around for facts to support it, which leads to, in journalism, bad journalism, or in whatever this is, misinformation.
Right, yeah, and it's not a scientific approach. A scientific approach would be, you have a hypothesis. Let's say this hypothesis is that there's no difference between vaccinated and unvaccinated. Okay, fine, let's test that. And how do we test that? You do everything you can to disprove that hypothesis, so that at the end of your work, your experiments, whatever analyses you're doing, you are going to either accept or reject your hypothesis. But you do everything you can to try to reject it before you accept it.
Right, absolutely. I want to move on to another popular one. This has been not just Jimmy, but many others, that ivermectin is the holy grail and should have been the early treatment for COVID. This one is Jimmy on Joe Rogan, one of the largest shows in the world. I think 11 million people listen last time I checked. Let's take a listen to Jimmy on Joe Rogan's show.
Okay, now, before we go on, this is where I'm going to have problems with YouTube. So I'm not subscribing to anything that Jimmy Dore is about to say. Okay, Jimmy Dore is a fucking liar. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And when he goes off on things like what he's about to say right now, he can say whatever he wants on YouTube. YouTube will allow him and Joe Rogan to say whatever they want, and they'll never... But me, just for playing it again, which, now, mind you, it's already been played on YouTube. It's on YouTube. And just for me playing again, then I get accused of his disinformation. So let me just tell the algorithms right now. I am not putting out misinformation. I'm showing Jimmy Dore, using him as an example that is being used in another video that's debunking the misinformation. Okay, you stupid algorithm. I hope you got it this time, and I hope this doesn't have to come down to a human being.
Can we talk about ivermectin?
Yeah, sure.
So I covered it, what they did in Mexico City, and ivermectin seems to be a drug that not only treats it, but it will prevent you from getting it.
So yeah, he's just casually on Joe Rogan saying that ivermectin will prevent you from getting it, or treat it from getting it. He cites a Mexico City study. I mean, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically that Mexico City study was redacted that he's talking about because it was just really completely shoddy. This is from the BMJ. The government of Mexico City handed out nearly 200,000 ivermectin-based kits last year.
I'm thinking about suing YouTube. Google. I'm thinking just not even a class action. Just me. I'm thinking about getting a lawyer and suing them for allowing some people to say some things, but not allowing me to say the exact same things and accuse me of putting out misinformation, disinformation, and what you're doing is you're violating my First Amendment right to free speech. And I'm going to sue you based on that. I have a right to say whatever I want. And if somebody else is saying it and you're allowing it, then you're showing some kind of discrimination against me for putting the exact same content up. All right? How about we sue Google and YouTube? Just me. Yeah. I'll go get a lawyer and I'll sue them for violating my First Amendment right to free speech. This is, beyond insane
people who had tested positive for COVID-19.
that I'm worried right now about even talking about this with you guys.
The government of Mexico City handed out nearly 200,000 ivermectin-based kits
I should
last year
be
to people who
concerned
had tested positive for COVID-19
about my subject
without telling them
matter
they were
now?
subjects in an experiment on the drug's effectiveness. The results of that experiment were then written up by public officials in an article placed on popular U.S. preprint server, SOC Arxiv. It became one of the site's most viewed articles, claiming that ivermectin had reduced hospital admissions by 52 to 76%. But those officials have been under fire at home since Arxiv withdrew the paper earlier this month, calling it either very poor quality or else deliberately false and misleading. To Rogan's sort of credit, he, after Dore said that, kind of said we need more data, this and that. But we know Rogan has pushed his own COVID insanity. Not just Dore casually, in my view, recklessly saying that, because a lot of people
I'm
will
gonna
then
call
take
my
it.
lawyer today.
It does have, it is prescribed for some human ailments like parasites, but typically is used for animals. But could you describe what Dore said, and B, the overall ivermectin as a treatment for COVID?
Gloomy
Yeah,
House.
so I mean, you pretty much covered what
The
Dore
myth,
said.
the legend.
Dude,
Stopping by to
dude.
say hi.
Bro, what's up?
And it was.
How's it going, man?
Concerns about fraudulent data. So
What do you got going on? How's it going? It's good to see you. I'm so glad you popped in. We're just doing our thing, 3 times a day, every day, forever. That's what we do. It's just what I do. We podcast, bro. We're just doing some podcasting, bro. What are you up to, man? You making some spooky videos? You still making them spooky videos, bro? With the red circle and the arrow and the arrow? You taught me about that. Gloomy knows what's up.
Gloomy House.
3 years?
Miss you, dude.
Wow, man.
I haven't posted in nearly 3 years.
You must be living your life. Am I right? That's great, bro. He got out. You're one of us that got out, man. I'm happy. You busted out of the pod sphere. Oh, God. What's the sun feel like?
he just.
This is really interesting, though, isn't it?
Due diligence and checking whether or not it's a quality study that has valid conclusions. So, yeah, that's pretty much par for the course for Jimmy, I think. But when it comes to ivermectin overall, yeah, it just does not work against COVID. At the beginning, at the outset of COVID-19 pandemic, and when it was suggested that, hey, why don't we test to see whether or not ivermectin can treat it?
What
that
just
wasn't a crazy
happened?
idea.
Oh,
We were testing
I
all
just
sorts of drugs
lost
to see if
everything.
anything
Joel
on
Froggy.
our shelves could already treat
One
COVID.
of my mates got a
and so
script for
we moved
14G
forward
of
with testing
cannabis
and
in South
several randomized
Austria.
controlled trials were
Yeah.
done using ivermectin to try and treat COVID patients. They tried to see if it would prevent cases, if it would prevent people from progressing to the hospital, if it could save people who had already been in the hospital, improve their outcomes. And the answer on all those fronts just was no. It just didn't work in randomized controlled trial after randomized controlled trial. It just didn't work. And yeah, that's unfortunate because it's a cheap drug and it would have been great if it worked, but it doesn't. We had to follow the data.
And can you talk about this? It's like twisted logic to me that the reason people like you or the big pharma cabal is pushing against ivermectin is because it won't make big pharma money. But last time I checked, ivermectin is made by Merck,
Yeah.
one of the giants of big pharma, and I don't know. It seems logical.
Dude, that sound every time I move my volume fader, this sound right here.
Billy Bong Thornton. That was weird.
I mean, let's say I just need to adjust the volume. I need to hear this fucking sound every time I need to adjust the volume for my podcast. Windows 11, you suck. There's no reason for that. I'm listening to other audio while I'm adjusting it. Why do you need to play a sound? And maybe if I put system sounds down and muted them all the way. There we go. Okay, at least it can be turned off. Fantastic. Now I'm not able to hear any of my other system sounds, but
Joel Froggy.
I have to go into my system sounds probably
It cost him
disable that.
$200.
Costs. I mean, this is just one example, but ivermectin doesn't help COVID, but generic drug makers are cashing in because
Billy Bong Thornton. F Windows 11.
So it's legal there now, Joel, in Australia? He got a prescription. That's great, man. That means you guys are making progress in cannabis, man. That's reason to celebrate. F Windows 11. Well, at least I was able to turn that stupid thing off. But I kind of want to celebrate right now, man.
Joel Froggy.
I just want
It
to
must be.
celebrate. Australia is getting great. Getting great with the cannabis. What? Bro, I'm smoking a bong rip to Australia, giving out a script for cannabis. I've had friends in, did I say Canada? Did I just say Canada?
No, Australia.
I mean Australia. Salute to Australia. I've had friends in Australia
Joel
that got in
Froggy.
so much trouble for cannabis.
No more suffering. Billy Ballantyne. What do you think the new craft was flying over Alaska?
Billy, check this out. I don't know. I'm just glad they shot it down. And I think they should shoot everything else down too. You know, I totally support the shooting down. Ron Placone put up a tweet, and it was like a bleeding heart. Oh, you know, they're shooting down things without looking at them first. And I was like, yeah, as they should. Welcome to America. You know, we've got a fucking passport system. You want to come into our country? You want to ride in? You want to fly something into our country? You come in the correct way. You know, welcome to America. I'll be the first one to shake your hand and welcome you into my country. You're sneaking in, flying in a freaking spy balloon or whatever. Like, we don't even need to investigate that, bro.
Billy Ballantyne.
Who's got the time, man?
I think it was an in and out burr. Billy
That's
Bong
what
Thornton.
air defense is for.
There's like 10 more if them heading this way.
Shoot them all down. I bet we got 10 missiles, one for each one. Pop, pop. Just, you know, every single balloon. We should make a freaking a highlight reel of those balloons popping.
We've got 6 missiles. I looked it up, by the way. We got 6.
Incoming.
Canada, yeah.
From China?
No, remember yesterday I was saying I think Canada's got a missile. I think we got one.
Billy Bong
Oh!
Thornton. LOL.
We have 6.
Did you looked into it? You fact checked it?
Yeah, we got it.
We do have 6 missiles in Canada.
Yeah, we can help you out good, yeah. And then drift over here.
That's like I don't care what anybody is sending into American airspace. I 100% support America in shooting it down without question. You know, shoot first. You don't have to ask questions
Joel
later.
Froggy.
You know?
And a dab for South Australia.
That's right. And a dab and a bong rip and all of that. Jiminy is taking part in this with Joel Froggy in Australia, Billy Bong Thornton, Billy Ballantyne. We've got all the Billies. We've also got Notlin over there in the sphere. Cheers. Cannabis isn't business for all I like to say to Australia. All my mates in Australia, eh? Do they say eh? No, that's not. They don't say
No.
aye. All my mates in Australia, aye. Aye, mate.
Billy Bong Thornton. Dabba dabba doo.
Yeah, I always wondered, Australia would be a great country to grow cannabis, wouldn't it? Like their climate, it's kind of dry, but I don't know. You'd think that they have really good stuff down there. I got
Billy Bong Thornton. Cheers to popping balloons.
Here's popping.
You know, they've got mouths. They want to tell us what the fuck they're up to, what those things are. They can do it. And if they don't, we got missiles. Take your pick. Is it the mouths or the missiles? Hey, you're going to lose money on every single one of them things you fly over here. You want to see what our capabilities are? I say we show them off. I say we flex a little muscle. You know? Show some America air strength and resolution. You know? Fuck your balloons. Yeah, I'm all about world peace and I'm all about globalization. And that ain't the way you fucking do it by spying on each other. You do it by talking. And whatever the fuck it is they got going on, I don't fucking care. You know? I don't care. I'm not curious. We got a job to do. Protect this country, protect the people that live inside it. That's what we pay the military for. Do your fucking jobbies.
Billy Ballantyne.
You know?
It was hilarious for me before bed. One moment I was awake and the Air Force says they shot down a UFO, and then I passed out. Dreamed of Martians all HT and shot out of bed screaming war cries. Mel Gibson was there.
Mel Gibson in South Park, bro, is the best. Those little faces he makes. Fucking duck lips, it's hilarious.
Of this misinformation that it does help. Can you kind of talk about, I don't really get where it became this thing that ivermectin and, you know, vitamin D and these other things aren't under Big Pharma? I mean, you take Tylenol, that's Big Pharma. I mean, it's, you don't penalize the medicine, you penalize the system for exploiting for profit's sake. But if ivermectin worked, wouldn't Big Pharma be pushing it?
Yeah.
Okay, 2050.
Or, you know, more, more people in the study, better data, more peer-reviewed system for exploiting for profit's sake. But if ivermectin worked, wouldn't Big Pharma be pushing it?
Yeah, they would. You're right. Merck is a very large producer of ivermectin, and if there was suddenly a huge demand for it in the midst of this imminent pandemic that is changing everyone's lives, if it worked and people needed it, Merck would make tons and tons of money, because not only would a lot of people need it, but people would constantly need it, because a treatment like ivermectin, if it did work for COVID, it wouldn't make COVID go away. It would just help people not get sick from it. So every time someone got infected, they would want ivermectin. So it would just keep selling and selling. But, I mean, that didn't happen because ivermectin just doesn't work. And yeah, I don't know why people have this perception that because it doesn't work and because pharma isn't going to use it, there must be some reason that pharma is actually suppressing it. It just doesn't make any sense. And I think where it comes from is the peddlers of ivermectin, you know, the people like Pierre Corey or John Campbell, they not only will claim that it works,
I'll speed it up.
but they will also throw claims around that there is intentional suppression. And so these conspiratorial stories, I think, resonate with people who are prone to believing in conspiracy theories. And so they just accept those people with the letters in front of their name saying these things at face value because it's a more exciting story in a way, that where the pharma is this big bad guy that's suppressing this miracle drug, and these renegade few doctors
Volume
are fighting the
Vader
system.
keep
I mean,
frequently
that's kind of how I
phrases.
rationalize it, or perceive kind of why that belief is so attractive to so many people. But it's just totally contradictory to reality, where
all the
yeah,
whole
pharma can make tons of money
volume
off ivermectin if it
sound
works, but
settings
it just doesn't.
frequently
Also,
phrases.
I mean, it's easy to conflate, because I mean, I'm very critical of the pharmaceutical industry. I believe in Medicare for all, not to get too political, but it's easy to conflate with people that already have grievances, righteous grievances, with the pharmaceutical industry or the military industrial complex, et cetera, and to then kind of lean into or prey on their mistrust of those industries and conflate it with the actual medicine. Because, like, for example, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it Eli Lilly or some that stopped certain monoclonal antibodies because it didn't work anymore against I think it was Omicron? Like, they're doing it not out of benevolence, because people are going to realize it doesn't work and they can't make money off of things that do not work.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, there are lots of genuinely bad things about big pharma, but you can't conflate, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Pharma does make products that work and treat people and make lives better. Pharma is also a company that wants to make money, and so yes, there is going to be history of corruption with certain companies, certain crimes, sure, but you can't deny the fact that they also make drugs that work. So you have to have some system within your own reasoning, within your own critical thinking, to parse the two. Okay, you can't say every case is going to be like morphine and OxyContin painkillers. But not every case is also going to be like insulin. Not every case is going to be completely life-saving and great, and not every case is going to be super shady and cause a lot of death.
Right. Let's go to Mr. Campbell, who has become a huge figure. Your video pointed out that before COVID, he got certain amount of views, nothing crazy. But all of a sudden, when he started kind of asking questions and pushing ivermectin, among other things, he kind of blew up. I want to show this part of one of your videos that looks into his trying to push this natural immunity versus vaccination, because there's been a huge push among anti-vaxxers. Well, don't get vaccinated, because if you've already had COVID, then you're covered under natural immunity. Let's take a look.
All of the included studies found at least statistically equivalence between the protection of full vaccine and natural immunity. So same, that they are the same in this data. And 3 studies found superiority of natural immunity, as this study here looks at a lot of different cases. A pretty thorough piece of work it is, in fact.
Okay, so this review article published in the BMJ is what John Campbell focuses on for his entire video, and he claims that it is thorough, but it is not. It is lacking some key papers published on this topic, papers that were published long before it was even written. So the fact that he's claiming that it's thorough either shows that he's not up on the literature, or he just doesn't care and was really sloppy and lazy in this video, which I'll let you decide which is true in this case. So what does John choose to highlight in this paper, and why does it not reflect the literature? Let's start to answer those questions.
Vaccinations recover people is of marginal benefit on an absolute basis.
This is really easy to demonstrate as false. It's been known for a long time that those who recovered from COVID and got just a single dose of mRNA vaccine have a much better immunity than before they got the vaccination. This was given the term hybrid immunity, and regardless on how you feel about that term, it was shown that hybrid immunity has a much better neutralizing breadth profile than those who just got infected and did not get vaccinated. In other words, even in recovered individuals, those who got vaccinated had a much wider breadth of memory B cells and memory T cells able to fight a much wider array of SARS-CoV-2 variants, which in a world where SARS-CoV-2 variants are still coming out because most of the world is still dealing with cases, that's pretty important. But John doesn't seem to mention any of that literature here, which is a huge miss. You were right in saying that everything you read generally says that having both an infection and vaccination is best, and that's generally true. So let me just break down the different scenarios. Either you receive vaccination and then you get infected, and that infection boosts your pre-existing immunity, while that pre-existing immunity protects you from severe disease. Or you have no pre-existing immunity, you get infected, you are then at higher risk of progressing to severe disease. And yeah, you walk away with immunity, but you put yourself at all that risk. And then your immunity is still not as good as someone who has gotten 3 doses of mRNA vaccine. It's only when data kind of suggests that if you get 1 vaccine dose and 1 infection, that looks like your immunity then looks like if you got 3 doses, but you have to survive the infection, and not ideally not go to the hospital or end up with long COVID or anything like that. So it's just better to get those 3 doses of vaccine.
Man,
have that broad
they're going to give me a strike for this video.
SARS-CoV-2 when it infects you. The whole idea, just get natural immunity.
And they won't review it.
Kind of have to catch the virus to get natural immunity.
I'll send a thing,
purpose of protecting yourself
an appeal, and they'll ignore it and give me the strike.
And also, there's new strains and variants, so the immunity you have
and
might be
they'll
stronger
accuse
towards
me of
the strand
spreading
that
misinformation.
you contracted, whereas not as protective against,
Jimmy Dore
name your future variant.
Right. If you get, if you had gotten infected with Delta back in the Delta wave, and then,
Dude, this stuff interests me so much, and you know what? I can't risk it, and I'm sure it's probably already too late. They're just going to hear all those words, and the computer's just going to say, "Yeah, you said it. You said this word, blah blah blah." Fucking douchebag.
It's crazy that Jimmy Dore has a YouTube channel with
Billy
1.5
Valentine.
million followers.
Turn it off then.
I did.
Cypress Hill is still hard to listen to.
Even when he's sped up 1.75 times.
Cypress Hill.
He goes on to destroy everybody, bro. He's great, though. I mean, he is a little challenging to listen to, but once you get past that, I'm so glad Jordan Sheridan had him on. I'm so glad. Make sure I'm still subscribed to that guy's channel. Dr. Dan Wilson. Oh,
Yeah,
there you go, Jimmy Dore. There you go, Jimmy Dore. He's a doctor. That means something to Jimmy Dore. Oh, he's a doctor. He's a doctor. Well, there you go. He's a doctor. Go listen to him. Debunk the Funk with Dr. Wilson. That's... Oh, here we go. Cool. I'm subscribed.
He's on Twitter, too.
I'm already subscribed to his channel. There's a link in the chat. He just put up a video 2 days ago debunking John Campbell. Uh-huh.
Hey, I'm Dr. Wilson. I'm a PhD molecular biologist, and welcome to another COVID debunking video. So, a few weeks ago, a meta-analysis was published in the journal Pharmaceuticals about the treatment of COVID using vitamin D. This is not a good meta-analysis by any measure, and yet certain people, including a nurse with a PhD in education, has popular...
You should go check out his channel, everybody. There's a link in the chat. I probably can't show this because I'll get in trouble. But, man, I love to watch an actual doctor destroy a fake doctor. You know, a doctor of bullshit. Man, It's all new. That was 2 days ago he put that up. I want to watch that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I immediately started following him. As soon as I saw him, like, yeah, this is that's the kind of people I like to follow. The real deal. Not people
Hey
that
man,
make fun of
do you know how long his video is? 7 minutes and 10 seconds exactly.
Ah, nice. Maybe that's why he was talking slow. Maybe he did a big dive before the interview.
Dude, it would be crazy if we went through his channel and all of his videos were either 420 or 710.
Yeah, he's like hiding. He's secretly trying to put it out there. He looks like he might, partake every once in a while.
Not according to his shelf. Not according to that shelf.
Yeah, there's nothing on the shelf. I was looking back there already. It's got like...
He's tweaking the O. He's tweaking the O. He's tweaking the O. On the 710. He's tweaking the O. On the 710. He's tweaking the O. He's tweaking the O. O. He's tweaking the O. Tweaking the O. Tweaking the O. It's happy 710. Harmony's just chilling. I'm watching these crypto prices, man. Harmony's just like sitting there. 24. We're down. We're down in the Dow. Our $8,000 is now worth a measly $15,492. Wah, wah, wow. Still more money than that Martini guy, because he lost money. So there you go.
Yeah, he almost doubled it almost.
So maybe we can just watch this in little segments.
Summarize this study as proof that vitamin D treats COVID. It does not. So in this video, I'm going to go over what a meta-analysis is, what this one says, and what the literature around vitamin D for treating COVID actually says. So let's get started. A meta-analysis is a paper where a group of researchers essentially take the work of other groups, put them all together, and analyze the strength of their conclusions all in one paper. In this case, the researchers are taking 5 other papers that looked at how well vitamin D can treat COVID. And
I gotta give him credit on the fro picking. He did a good job. It's looking pretty fierce. He's looking like a strong man with a strong head of hair.
Assessing the strength of those studies and whether or not they can make any conclusions from the studies as a whole. However, one big issue that you always have to look out for in meta-analyses or reviews like this of any kind is this concept of garbage in, garbage out. If you're not including good studies in the first place, then you're not going to have a good conclusion at the end of your analysis. So let's look at the 5 studies that were included in this meta-analysis on treating COVID with vitamin D. The first 3 apparently controlled trials. However, they each included fewer than 100 patients, which is not great, but it is something, right? It's a study, they found a result, and that result becomes part of the body of scientific literature surrounding this question. The next one is another randomized control trial, which included about 240 patients, and they found no benefit for vitamin D in treating COVID. Okay, so we have 3 randomized control trials that together equal just under 300 patients showing a benefit, and we have 1 clinical trial, including 240 patients, that shows no benefit. Okay, so what's their 5th study say? Well, the authors say that this 5th study shows a benefit.
I don't know about
However,
Jimmy
this
Kimmel,
5th
but
study,
he definitely would look like somebody.
It's an observational study, which involves no randomization and no placebo.
Like me,
so why
I look like Kevin McCarthy,
Speaker
Speaker of the House. I mean, what can I say?
That's a big mistake by the authors.
You're out of
it
order.
actually really hurts their
Sit
analysis.
down.
If you remove that
Shut
paper from
up.
their analysis, then the protective benefit they claim to have found doesn't look so protective.
You never,
and yet a certain nurse
you never know who you're going to look like when you catch your...
Didn't point this out to his audience, even though he just reads papers and totally delivers good information. Yeah. No.
Yeah, you forgot one part, my brother. Can I help? Let me just say something. Dude, he also circles things, underlines things, and puts check marks next to things on a piece of paper on a side screen on his monitor, and that really impresses people like Jimmy Dore. Don't ever leave that out. Don't ever leave that out. What, Jiminy? What?
My elementary school teacher used to do that.
Well, do little circles and dots and check marks and underline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scratch.
You know, I'll tell you why he does that. Because he thinks it makes him look authoritarian, like a teacher. That's exactly why he does that. You know, it's a little gimmick that Jimmy Dore falls
Billy
for.
Valentine. I think you look like Ron Perlman had a baby with Jeffrey Epstein.
And so that's the list of studies that were used in this meta-analysis, and I just can't help but wonder why only these 5 studies, one of which, again, isn't even a randomized controlled trial. There are plenty of other randomized controlled trials that they could have included that are much more well-powered. For example, they could have included this one, which pretty convincingly shows no benefit of vitamin D for any stage of COVID. It did not improve patient outcomes, it did not prevent infection, it just didn't work. Why they excluded it? I don't know. Did they not know about it? Did they purposely exclude it? I don't know. But what we do know is that the scientific literature as a whole generally supports the notion that vitamin D is not going to treat COVID. I often see COVID conspiracy theorists claiming that medical officials always downplayed the importance of vitamin D and healthy lifestyles and all that stuff, and that if only we had a national vitamin D campaign where everybody checked their levels and everybody got their levels up to the optimal levels, then we wouldn't have had a pandemic. And that's just silly. It's a really silly approach to an imminent pandemic that is threatening the nation right now. Not only have scientific and medical professionals always advocated for people to eat a healthy diet that would support a optimal level of vitamins and nutrients in your body, get enough sleep, get exercise, all of that, but none of these things are actually solutions to an imminent pandemic. Even if your body is healthy and has optimal levels of these things, it doesn't mean that it's totally immune to COVID and other infectious diseases. Will it help to not be nutrient deficient? Absolutely, but only to a certain extent. It's not going to eliminate the threat entirely. Furthermore, the idea that vitamin D is something that was suppressed by the pharmaceutical company because it doesn't make money is just bonkers. Vitamins are a multi-billion-dollar business just in America. If there was a national vitamin D campaign where everybody was going out buying vitamin D supplements all at the same time, then they would have made a ton of money. But that didn't happen because the science just didn't really support it.
That's what
Most
he
of the
said to
actions that
Jordan
COVID
Sheridan.
minimizers said would have prevented the pandemic really come down to lifestyle changes. And these kinds of lifestyle changes, again, are things that medical professionals have always advocated for. But it doesn't work to just advocate for a healthy lifestyle. Not everyone's going to follow it. And I'm pretty sure that these same people who did not like government mandates during the pandemic also would not appreciate the government mandating sleep and how much you exercise and what you eat, right? So recommending these long-term lifestyle changes that could correct things like vitamin deficiencies was not going to be the solution to the pandemic. We needed more action that would have effects sooner. We needed action to
Cannabis
slow the
isn't
spread of
business
infectious
for
disease.
all.
We
No
needed
longer
antivirals to
cannabis.
treat that
Cheers.
illness. And we
Jiminy,
needed tools to
Billy,
induce immunity so that we could get back
Notlin,
before
and
we
everyone
actually
that's in
encounter
all the
lives.
chats and
All of
the-
those things
yeah,
is
cheers.
what happened. But for some reason, a lot of people still like to believe that there's a
Cheers to that
easy
guy.
and natural quick fix to a problem that is as complicated as a pandemic. And a certain nurse with a PhD in education is not helping to correct that. Well, that's all I wanted to say this week. So if you want to learn more about all this stuff or check my sources on all the science that I talked about in this video, it's all going to be linked in the description below so that you can read it for yourself. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And if you like this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe so you catch me next week where I'll be debunking some more funky stuff. See you then.
He's great, man. Debunk the funk.
Yep. I'm following
Debunk the
on
funk
Twitter.
with
He's
Dr.
good.
Wilson. Dr. Wilson. Debunk the funk with Dr. Wilson. Gonna get me in a lot of trouble for playing this stuff on my channel, I'm sure. Dollar cost averaging. Nobody's dollar cost
I'm making this video to help
averaging.
beginners in the stock market, and this will be so helpful to a lot of people.
Nobody's
Today's video is a stock
dollar
market for beginners
cost
video about
averaging.
dollar cost averaging in and out. So here's the situation: when you're buying stocks, or when you're looking to buy stocks, you want to buy low and sell high.
That's right.
So when you see
That's right. You don't average, you buy low. It's that simple. I don't know why everyone conflates the two.
good stock falling
two
in price,
different
a lot
things.
of people get excited because they see a buying opportunity. Most people, when they see that happen, a good stock falling in price, they want to buy, and they want to buy right now. But what's the fear and what's the danger? I mean, we've all been here. The fear and danger is that when you buy right now, the price will continue to go down. And if that happens, then you'll lose money, you'll feel bad, you'll get anxious, and you'll keep...
That's why I tell you, you just buy a little bit and wait, right? We've gone through this on my show many times. My whole thing is, you want to spend like $1,000 on something, buy $100 of it first, and just wait and see what it does.
keep checking your phone constantly. So let me solve this problem for you. Let me give you a two-part solution. And the first part is that you need to reduce the size of your purchases. You need to get your sizing correct. So I personally would not make any one stock more than 10% of my stock market portfolio. No matter how much you love the stock, no
Oh,
matter
okay,
how
okay. I thought you were
revolutionary
gonna say,
you think that
do
company is
10%
going
of
to be,
your
just don't do it.
purchase.
Don't go more than 10% of your
like,
portfolio.
oh, what?
I would
Oh
say
my
spread
God.
your risk.
Oh my God.
Spread your risk. I'm sure that you can find 9 other stocks, 9 other amazing companies that you think will be just as awesome as the one that you're looking at or the one that you found. You just have to do a little bit more looking, and I assure you that you will find them.
He's talking about
And trust me, for your emotional health and for your
diversify.
financial health, it will be better that you have your money riding on 10 stocks instead of just one.
That's what I did.
If you have one stock, so just
That's
think
what
like
I
this. If you have one
told you with
stock,
crypto. Remember, I got 50. I'm holding 50 cryptos. I was like, I spread it all out to figure out which one was going to be the one. And as soon as I found the one, right, ONE. Get it?
Yeah.
Harmony. ONE. As soon as I found the one, I thought that's when I start putting all my money into that one. Right? But I'm still riding 50 other ones, and I've lost money on 47 of them, 48 of them so far. Right now, I've lost value, I should say. But
and the price of that stock does nothing, it's going to drive you nuts.
I make a lot of sense, huh? And this guy's got 1 million followers.
You're going to be like, oh, nothing happened. Oh, like I'm still not rich yet. If you have 10 stocks, I guarantee you something is going to be popping off every week. Something's going to be going down, and you're not going to be going stir crazy. If you have one
Everyone
stock,
should be following
God
him.
forbid that stock goes down. If that happens and you have one stock, then it's going to be soul crushing. If you have 10 stocks and one of them goes down, then you will not be devastated. So trust me, you're going to get a lot of financial and emotional benefits by diversifying your portfolio. And you have to, I would say that, this is where most investors go wrong because they can't control their emotions. You need emotional discipline to become a successful investor because the markets are going to be irrational and your emotions, they will be tested. And when you get emotional, it's going to cloud your judgments and you can do very stupid things. So listen, a 10% max allocation, that is not a golden rule. Some investors will go 5%, some will even go 3%. Other investors will go 15%. All I'm saying is that you just don't want to go all in on one stock. Yes, you're going to hear those glory stories. The glorious stories of people that went all in on one stock and they hit it big, but you're not going to hear the other stories of the people that went all in on one stock and they missed. Those are the stories those are the untold stories of sorrow and regrets and misery. I don't want that to be the story of your financial life.
My main channel.
Okay, so I said that there are two things. The first part was no more than 10% max allocation to one particular stock, right? Next, so the second thing is that when you're buying a stock, you want a dollar cost average in. You want a DCA, dollar cost average. So let's just say that you have $10,000 in your stock account, your stock portfolio. And let's say that you want to allocate $1,000 to SLV, which is a play on silver. Okay, the price of SLV right now, this is just an example. So the price of SLV right now is at $20 a share. You have $10,000 in total, and you want to buy $1,000 worth of silver, 10% allocation rate. So do not take that $1,000 and buy SLV all at once at $20 a share. Don't do that. I would say rather you should dollar cost average in, DCA in. So what I'm saying is take that $1,000 to buy up SLV little by little, not all at once. So for example, pick up $400 worth when it's at $20 a share. If you buy the 20.
Okay, I said do 100. He said 400. Interesting. This is my thing. Do 100, and then watch what it does, and decide if you're going to boom the other $900. He's got a little bit of a different strategy, but it's very similar to mine. Isn't this interesting?
$20 a share and it just shoots up and it never looks back and never comes down, then great, you made money. If you buy the $20 a share, the $400 worth, and then it falls to $19, I would say buy another $300 worth. And at that point, if it just shoots up, if it skyrockets up, if it never goes down further, then that's great. Then you made money. If you bought it at 20 and 19 and it falls to 18, then buy another $300 worth. And at that point, you will have deployed your full $1,000. But now, by doing this, you are now averaged in at approximately $19 a share. And you're much better off than if you were just to buy it all at once when it was at $20 a share. So this is good, and you should be happy.
Yeah, but I'd be happier if I waited and only spent $10 and waited for it to go all the way down and then put the $900 at the bottom. This is how I find the bottom when I'm purchasing. He's talking about dollar cost averaging in, and I am not. I'm talking about buying the dip, but you gotta find the dip. So him and I are different. This is interesting. It is a different strategy. What
Now,
he's
I want to tell you about
telling
this because this is something funny that'll happen. And
I
a lot of
think
people
the
that do this,
dollar
they'll
cost
completely understand where I'm
averaging
coming
is
from. So if you buy your initial batch at $20 a share, a part of you will actually be rooting for the stock to go down, further, because that would be an opportunity for you to purchase more at a better price. So I'll just say this. When you dollar cost average in, if you make your initial purchase at 20, you're not going to be going crazy if it goes up or down 50 cents. Because if it goes up 50 cents, then you're going to be making money and you're going to be happy. If it goes down 50 cents, it's going to be closer to another buying opportunity at an even better price. So you're going to see this as a win-win situation. So listen, you are not going to be able to get precisely the absolute rock bottom price when you're buying, and you're not going to be able to precisely get the absolute pinnacle, the absolute top when you're selling.
I agree.
But this way,
I
by
agree.
DCAing in and out, you're going to be able to get close
very
to it
hard
with a
to do.
systematic approach. And this is going to be a game changer for most people, especially when you're selling your stocks or your cryptos. So it's going to be the same concept when you're selling. And I know this is something I noticed. I noticed that cryptocurrency investors, they've learned this a little bit faster, and they've taken this more to heart compared to stock market investors. But first, I know there's a lot of overlap here. I know there's a lot of people here that invest in both stocks and in cryptos. But okay, I'll get to the cryptocurrency parts. But first things first, you have to sell the top. There are economic cycles. There are bull markets, there are bear markets, there are cycles. Yes, the timing and the volatility of different markets will be different, of course, based on what you're talking about, whether it's silver or gold or oil or growth stocks, S&P 500, Bitcoin, whatever it may be. Different markets will be different in terms of the fluctuations and the timing. But the reason why I bring up cryptocurrency investors is because I think that they've learned the hardest and they've learned the fastest through experience. You can ask any cryptocurrency investor from 2017. A lot of them got rich in 2021 because they knew when to sell. Hopefully, people from 2021 learn next time for 2025. It's very unlikely that you're going to sell the absolute pinnacle, the absolute top. But when you do sell, you want to stagger outs in batches. You want a dollar cost average outs. So what I'm saying is that if you think Bitcoin is going to $100,000, let's just say the top end or the range of the next bull run, $100,000 in the next bull run, then I would say get your sell orders in starting at 80,000. 80,000, 90,000, 100,000, maybe save a little bit of an order for 105,000, for example. And you know what?
if Bitcoin shoots past that, if it shoots to $120,000, I would say who cares, because you made so much money. And anyways, and besides, you know that it's going to come crashing back down from $100,000 to $20,000. You know that. So if it only hits $90,000, at least you got to offload the bulk of your position near the top. By selling out in batches, you are reducing the chances that an all or nothing event goes badly against you. So for example, if you put a sell order in to sell all your Bitcoin at $100,000, but it only reaches $90,000, and it crashes back down to $20,000, and that's going to be pretty rough for you. So what's the moral of the story? The moral is to get rid of the all or nothing approach, to get rid of the all or nothing mentality. Go big or go home. Instead, dollar cost average in and out. And by doing so, you're going to reduce your emotional damage and you're going to become a better investor. You may think that I'm oversimplifying this, that this sounds too easy. It sounds so easy to do, but trust me, it's not. This is actually harder than it sounds. That's because if you want to DCA in and out, it requires patience, which is very lacking among a lot of investors these days. It requires discipline. But I highly encourage you to start utilizing this dollar cost average approach on your purchases and on your sales. Now, I want you to be aware of this because this is very important. So you can use this staggered exit approach in many ways. For example, I made this clear. I have Exxon stock, XON. A lot of people ask me when I'm going to sell the Exxon stock. I think that's a very good question. I'll most likely sell Exxon when it becomes overvalued, when it runs up too hard, too fast, more than it's justified. So when will that be? One scenario of multiple. So one scenario is that if oil shoots up to 130 a barrel to 150 a barrel. Listen, if the price of Brent crude oil gets to $130 a barrel, then I'll start selling off some of my Exxon stock. If oil gets to 140 a barrel, then I'll sell off some more. If oil gets to 150 a barrel, then I would be completely out of my Exxon position. Because if oil gets to 150 a barrel, investors would FOMO into oil stocks, they would FOMO into Exxon, they would drive up the price. But oil at 150 a barrel, that would be unsustainable. Oil would come down.
Dude, let me please. I just love when he gets pissed off, man. It's like, I just want to see this again. I love this. Let me watch this again. Let me just enjoy this moment.
Then I would be completely out of my Exxon position. Because if oil gets to 150 a barrel, investors would FOMO into oil stocks, they would FOMO into Exxon, they would drive up the price. Oil stocks, they would FOMO into Exxon, they would drive up the price. Investors would FOMO into oil stocks, they would FOMO into Exxon, they would drive up the price. Investors would FOMO into oil stocks, they would FOMO into Exxon, they would drive up the price. Investors would FOMO into oil stocks, they would FOMO into Exxon, they would drive up the price.
He does it every time, man. He'll start going off, and then he'll stop, and then he'll start over again, and he'll rein himself in. It's my favorite, man. Freaking love it.
Frustrating.
I love the way he reins himself in. He's like, okay, do that over.
But oil at 150, I would be completely out of my Exxon
Here it is
position.
one more time.
Because if oil gets to 150 a barrel, investors would FOMO into oil stocks, they would FOMO into Exxon, they would drive up the price. But oil at 150 a barrel, that would be unsustainable. Oil would come down, and Exxon stock, it would fall back down accordingly. So you can use an underlying asset, an indicator, or an index to determine how you will dollar cost average out of a stock. So I'll give you another example. Let's say that you have Ethereum or Cardano or Dogecoin or whatever altcoin. You can have a strategy that you're going to start selling your altcoin positions when Bitcoin, so you're going to be tracking Bitcoin, when Bitcoin hits 80,000, 90,000, 100,000. Because if you buy Cardano right now, and you say that you're going to sell Cardano at the peak of the next bull run, and you're not paying attention to Bitcoin, then you're going to be in the dark in terms of what prices to be staggering out of Cardano. So you see what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind. And you can do the same thing with the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ when you're looking at individual equities. So when you're dollar cost averaging in or out, I'm just saying that you can look at it from a bottom-up approach, or you can look at it from a top-down approach, or you can look at it from both perspectives. I hope this has been helpful. Please check out our Patreon website. We have exclusive content on stocks and investing. It's a great place.
It's very helpful. I don't subscribe to everything that he says all the time, but man, he's a great channel, great information. Clear value tax, man. Clear value tax. Clear value, one word. 1.7 million followers, bro. He's got 1.7 million subscribers on, and I'm signed up for notifications. All notifications. I don't know why it was on personalized. I just selected all. So, been watching a lot of CoffeeZilla. I enjoy that. So, okay, here's some hopium, I guess, from Coin Bureau.
In the next war, could you see Ethereum and Bitcoin having a bit of a battle? Do you think Ethereum could, at some point, dethrone Bitcoin.
He flips BTC or it doesn't. It's not really a big deal as far as I'm concerned.
Is 100x still a viable target for people? And should it be a viable target for people?
We're going to raise rates again and we're going to keep them high and that's it and just live with it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another video from Cryptovisi, and today we are joined by a special guest, Guy from Coin Bureau. How you doing?
I'm very well, chaps. I'm very well. Good to see you.
Yeah, no, it's great to be here in Dubai, in your office. It's it's amazing to see what you guys are doing here. Absolutely insane stuff. So I guess the first thing to talk about, what's been happening in the market, where things are going, and what your opinions are.
Yeah, it's been because the end of last year was just bleak, wasn't it? So it's such a miserable time. And then like 2023 has been kind of up only almost, and it's been so interesting to watch because there just seems to be this kind of this tug between these two poles. You know, the people who are saying, you know, we're going to go lower. There's still so much that needs to play out, and this kind of emerging school of thought that says, well, perhaps the worst is behind us. You know, perhaps we're moving out of this. And I'm kind of talking, you know, crypto specific here. So I mean, I think it's fascinating to watch this kind of dance that everyone's doing with Jerome Powell and the Fed. I think, you know, he comes out and he says we're going to raise rates again and we're going to keep them high and that's it and just live with it. And then everyone goes, yeah, but I mean, they might pivot soon, mightn't they? So you know, we better just get in anticipation. So yeah, it's this fascinating situation where everyone's kind of trying to second guess when the Fed might pause or pivot and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, at the same time, we've got all these other kind of big macro factors just weighing on us. You know, the war in Ukraine, like what happens with China reopening, all these other things to think about. So it's a really interesting time. And then at the same time, we've obviously got crypto to consider as well. I really feel, and I hope I'm right on this, I'm prepared to be wrong, but I hope I'm right in that I really feel that we could have kind of turned the corner in terms of kind of crypto-specific catastrophes, if you want to come out there. I'm quite surprised with how the market seems to have taken DCG and obviously Genesis going bankrupt. That seems to have taken it largely in its stride. I don't know whether we were just all so pessimistic or feeling so big
comparison between that and FTX. It's like, well, we already had this one going.
Yeah, I mean, how bad could it get? So that's been fascinating to watch as well. So I am feeling a lot more kind of optimistic for the year ahead. I'm dug in for a year of, I don't think it's going to be spectacular in terms of price action. I don't think it needs to be spectacular, and I almost feel in a way we don't want that. We shouldn't want that. It's a year of retrenchment. It's a year where good projects should attract funding and developers and keep building.
A year of gradual climbing, and that's what I've been saying for months, guys. I'm like, March is going to be should be pretty explosive, but until then, I hope we have a nice staircase going up to it, and we did, and everything was going great, everything was fine, and then 2 days ago. The whole market just crashed and went to nothing, man. I don't know why. But you know, the beautiful thing about the whole crash that just happened is look where our harmony is. Look where our profit still is. After that massive drop, we still have a lot of profit off of $8,000. So, it's for us, we made the right move, you know.
Away from all the hype. Hopefully we get the crappy projects, the bad money sort of get filtered out. So I don't think it's going to be a blockbuster year. I don't think it's going to be a rock and roll year. But I think when we look back, I think we'll go, yeah, 2023 was a big one. A lot got built then.
Yeah. And what camp are you in? You said, you know, you've got people that think there's a lot more to come. You've got people that think that we're on the way up now. Like, are you bullish? Are you bearish? You get the bottoms in?
I'm beginning to turn more bullish than I have been. I've been expecting a bottom. I've been expecting us to go a lot lower than where we are now for a while. And like I say, I'm amazed that the market has held up as it has. And I still feel that we can go lower. I still feel that we've got so much left. Interest rates have got so much more, you know, pain left to dish out. The Fed is absolutely determined to get inflation down. Let's remember that inflation is still high. It may have come down. We may have really made some progress on that, but it is still way too high. And I just don't believe that the Fed will do any half measures on that. So I don't think it will be a case of we just go down and then suddenly, or you know, QE comes back in, the money printer gets turned back on, and everything goes crazy. I think we'll have to see prolonged period of you know, low inflation in order for that to be a possibility. So
and if you got
yeah, I do feel more bullish than I have felt.
Ooh.
Certainly towards the end of last year. But yeah, I mean, I'm still aware of the problems. But crypto does seem to be more resilient than perhaps I've given the credit for.
What do you think about, so the idea of volatility in crypto, I think is always a big one, right? Lots of people, like, it's the same thing, that's two camps, right? Some people think that the volatility is actually going to be sucked out of crypto, much like in the stock market. Yeah, you're going to get used to seeing maybe 1% moves being a big move. Do you think that's going to be the case now? We've got more exposure, we've had all these events. Do you think, you know, the move up to 50, 100k Bitcoin, do you think that's going to take substantially longer? Or, you know, will we ever see that? Like, what do you think?
I think we're a long way from crypto being a sort of non-volatile asset, because I think we're still in that stage. I think most people don't really understand crypto. There's still a lot of people who don't see the point of it.
I gotta give Guy credit, and listen, it's because he really knows what he's talking about. If you have ever watched his channel, he's done more reporting and more research. And let me tell you something, he was totally wrong about FTX, and he promoted it to his audience. He was wrong, and then all of them ended up getting screwed. But if you watch his channel and what he covers, it's not just what this crypto is about or what that crypto is about. He covers world events. He covers the Fed. He covers all kinds of financial and world happenings that have to do with crypto, and it all relates back. He really is very knowledgeable. So when he's saying this right here, I You know, when Guy talks, I listen for sure about this.
The majority, yeah, the vast majority, I think. So there's always going to be that until it's become more mainstream, until people are more on board with the idea of what it is and what it can do. I think there will always be that uncertainty and always that volatility. And certainly at the moment, with trading conditions as they are, obviously the kind of low balances on exchanges, I think a lot of people are hodling, especially the likes of BTC and ETH. So those low exchange balances are always going to.
So the sales of gold wallets have definitely gone up.
Yeah, which is great. Like, that's such a good thing. You know, it shows that the market, people are learning their lessons, even if they learned it the hard way. That's good. That's a sign of the market maturing. But I think we've got a long way to go before it's kind of more mainstream, I guess, and people are kind of used to it. And I think, you know, it's more fun when it's more fun.
So in terms of the year we're going to have in front of us, I think it's something we briefly touched on in the video that's also on your channel as well, the Twitch channel, is that 2023 will be looked back on as sort of a year that was a big year in terms of the innovation that we'll hopefully see this year. And yeah, in a way, I think we agree in terms of we don't want Bitcoin to be completely outrageous in its price action, because you're going to be missing out on the pure good innovation that you're going to be seeing hopefully this year. And so in terms of Bitcoin doing really well in terms of going to new all-time highs, you don't see that happening anytime soon. You think it's going to be a bit far away from that at the moment?
I think we are, yeah. I don't see it happening this year. Famous last words.
Yeah, of course.
Just to eradicate around.
You can recycle that for the rest of time. Yeah, I think we're way off that. I think obviously the halving is early 2024, if I remember rightly. It seems to be sticking to that script fairly well at the moment. And obviously the halving itself, I don't think will take us to new all-time highs. So I think we're way off that. I would be very surprised if we saw any kind of new all-time high before mid-2024.
And as you said, you know, the inflation right now, as you said, it's coming down, but it's still high. You know, from 7%
to 21.60.
It's still at 6%, or at least, you know, a bit higher than that. So it's still, you know, relatively high figures for inflation.
It's 21.60.
And so the days of 100x, the holy grail almost that everyone wants to come in and make 100x money, is that still a possibility for people? Or do you think it should always be not a possibility? Like, is 100x still a viable target for people, and should it be a viable target for people?
I think this is crypto, so it's still a likelihood. I mean, we have seen some extraordinary gains in this bear market, especially with the AI sector, just absolutely pumping like crazy. So you can't rule these things out in crypto. And again, I think that comes back to what we were talking about volatility. And
because they're focused
so there's
on
always going
him.
to be this kind of hype that you wouldn't, not necessarily driven by fundamentals, that you wouldn't see in a more mature market, in the stock market, for instance, or something like that. So I think, yeah, 100x's are going to be, they are going to be a feature. Definitely a feature, not a bug of crypto for a while. But I mean, it's so difficult to spot these things. And I think really a better investment strategy for the time being is to focus on fundamentals, to focus on projects that excite you, projects that you think have long-term potential. And who knows, there might be 100x or two in amongst there somewhere.
You take into account the market cap of crypto altogether. I think it's less than $1 trillion, around $1 trillion.
It's about the trillion mark at the moment.
You compare that to the likes of gold. The market cap of gold is like 12 trillion.
Amazing.
That's quite a bit higher.
Than that. So, you know, in terms of comparing
this is the most clear I've ever watched
one section of
YouTube.
another asset class of precious metals being gold. You know, we're way off from where we could be in the future, and that's also kind of a good sign, gives you a bit of hope for the time being.
One thing I think I'm interested in, I know subscribers will definitely be interested in, is personally, Guy, for your what you've invested in the past, like what is one coin for you that has done really, really well? What have you made like kind of the most gains on since you've been in crypto?
Oh gosh, that's a tricky one. I mean, I have made some pretty good gains on ETH, because I did get in. I've been buying ETH for a long time now. Trying to remember sort of altcoins that have really pumped.
What I will say as well, guys, is that we do have another video coming out soon, which will be on Guy's kind of top coins or top sectors for this year. So definitely stay tuned for that one as well. But yeah, we'd love to know, like, is there anything that's been you've invested and you thought that's one of the best investments apart from ETH, maybe?
Yeah, apart from ETH. I made some good money on Atom. I mean, I still think Atom's got a long way to go. And it's, for me, that was one of the satisfying ones, because it's great to invest in a project that you think you really believe in, you really think is amazing, and then watch it go crazy. But I mean, Atom in the last bull market, as I remember, I don't think it's fulfilled its potential yet by any means. But that was certainly a nice one to get on.
Was it just because you mentioned Ethereum there? What happened last year with the merge, and that was a big thing. What happened to Ethereum and the network itself going from proof of work to proof of stake? What do you see for Ethereum, if anything, for the next few years in terms of its innovation, or where it could be going?
I think there's certainly a heck of a lot more to happen. I mean, they're so busy with testnet. I mean, we've got Shanghai coming up very soon. That's going to be big. We can see how withdrawals of stake ETH goes and staking rewards. That's going to be huge. I can only see Ethereum growing. I mean, it's got so much market share at the moment. It is constantly evolving, constantly finding new things. And we've already got this whole layer 2 ecosystem built on top of it already. So yeah, I really do feel that Ethereum is going to be the base layer, the base chain.
I guess like a secondary question to that is, so in the next war, could you see Ethereum and Bitcoin having a bit of a battle? Do you think Ethereum could at some point dethrone Bitcoin as the number one position?
Okay, yeah, that's not anything I'm really interested in. I could just do that. I think I'm okay. Yeah, that stuff, it really interests me what he thinks about the volatility and future of the crypto market, What's up, bees? Got bees down here chilling. Bees is chilling, man. The market's recovering today. Wow, look at that. That's nice. It's coming back. Binance is in the green. The only one that we're watching up close on the far right is in the green. 0.2%. So that looks like everything is moving upward. According to these 24-hour charts below me here, everything's moving upwards today. Today's Saturday. Huh. Bitcoin has like no volume at all. All the volume right now is on Cardano, and Harmony One has a ton of volume. Harmony One is at 24.35. It was all the way down to 23.25. So Harmony One has moved up a full tenth, which is great. And Binance is showing a lot of movement too. Four yellow markers in a row on Harmony. What is going on over there? Wow, there's no volume. 0, it says. Something's going on there. So this is what can happen. Harmony is set up to go up with, if Bitcoin shoots up and the whole market shoots up, Harmony is set to go up with everything else. And Harmony right now is in a really good spot to do that. So it might happen. That'd be great. It's still early in February, so we still got, plenty of time before March. We'll see if it tries to recover from this huge drop that it just took. Really, really, really big setback for everything, especially Bitcoin, because Bitcoin was up to, so close to hitting 25,000 range. Just gotta wait and see if the volume comes in. I want to be live if it happens. Maddox at $1.25. I'm looking at the tea leaves. I'm reading the tea leaves here. There was a giant inverse head and shoulders on Binance. That drop coincides with an inverse head and shoulders on Cardano. on the 24-hour chart. There is a possible inverse head and shoulders getting ready to complete on Harmony, but it's only if it turns around and goes back up right now. If it does, if Harmony goes back up, it'll complete an inverse head and shoulders. And I don't see that on... Well, you know, Bitcoin kind of reflects a head and shoulders pattern as well, an inverse. Ethereum, no. But the problem there is those are rising wedge patterns, which usually result in a drop. Okay, we got a big yellow marker on Harmony. It's got to reverse and finish this head and shoulders pattern here. If I go like that, go like this, and go like this, I can show you the head and shoulders. Shoulder, head, and if this forms, shoulder. So let me get a zoomed in shot for you, and we can see if it forms or not. Okay? Here, we'll go all the way like this. There we go. That's a nice zoomed in shot. And what we're looking for is we're looking for this to go back up to here. This green line, we want it to do exactly what this did. And if it does that, we got shoulder, head, shoulder. Perfect pattern. Binance is already showing a response. It's went from a inverse head and shoulders pattern to a falling wedge pattern. Okay, so check this out. Shoulder, head, shoulder, and now falling wedge pattern. So these are two signs that Binance is about to go skyrocketing up. Skyrocketing. I mean, it's at 309 right now. It's probably going to go to like 320 or some crazy shit. You know? But see that head and shoulders on Harmony, it's not forming yet. So we can see it. Oh, there's a reversal. Do you see that? That's what we need. You see that line's lifted above the flat line average, the 24-hour average there. We see Harmony says 2437 down in the bottom corner of the screen. 0.02437. See that? Hopefully that'll go up. It's all on Binance. The whole market has got a super visual strong pattern on Binance that anybody could see that understands this market. It would just be screaming at them. So Binance reacts. See, we're dropping again. See, it's dropping. That's not good. Well, Binance is going downward too. This could be a reconsolidation across the market. It could flip. There it is. Look. Look. Shoulder, head, shoulder. Inverse. 24.35 Harmony. $24.35. It's just so flatline. There it goes. $24.36. Just tiny little increments will finish that pattern, man. Let's see if Binance turns around. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, here goes Bitcoin and Ethereum showing a green marker, and Matic is showing a green candle, a strong one. This is great for Harmony because that'll help finish this pattern. And then you got your inverse head and shoulders pattern. $24.38. Our plans for a new Death Star are almost complete. Soon we shall rule this galaxy together. Soon we shall rule this galaxy together. Pizza. $24.39. What's going on? Matic has a purple marker. There it goes. It just went to a green candle. That's great. All right. So let's see what pumps, man. $24.39. Inverse head and shoulders, guys. And Binance is in falling wedge. Coming off of a massive, Binance is coming off of a massive inverse head and shoulders pattern. But there was after that there was a regular head and shoulders pattern. They're gonna basically cancel out and do whatever the market does. You guys want to see it? Look. You've got an inverse here. Oh, this is Binance. Shoulder, head, shoulder. But look what happened. You've got a regular shoulder, head, shoulder pattern. You know what this does? Because this is a little bigger, luckily, it should just pretty much do whatever the market dictates. It's basically these cancel each other out. That's just me doing this, people. I have a feeling that we're going to be good. If this was a smaller pattern and this was a larger one, I'd be really concerned. I would say that this would cancel that out. But because this is larger, I have a feeling it's going to counter that and counter the effect of it. So there you have it, 24.42, and look at that shoulder head shoulder on Harmony 1. Harmony 1. That's a completed pattern. That's good for us. That's good for harmony. I mean, I don't know if the rest of the look there it goes. I don't know if the rest of the market's going to follow it, but harmony is certainly about to go up right now, and that's going to be in a good position to go if the whole market does go up. It's in a great spot. What I don't understand is why its 24 hours says 0.61, 0.65 negative when we can all see it's in the green. I think there's a discrepancy there. I think the chart has to update. If it's 0.69 negative on its 24 hour, that number should be going down, down, down. It should be green, green. I don't get it. 0.61. It should be green now. It's behind, maybe? No. It went up to 0.73. It should be green, man. That percentage should definitely be green. Or that chart is wrong. With 2446. Look at that inverse head and shoulders pattern. Done. Going up after that. Usually we'd get one of those that would come down and then really go up. So this is a little different. Why is that negative percentage getting bigger? $2,445. What the hell? 2,446. 2,443. Wow, that was a big drop all of a sudden. Okay, the whole market's reconsolidating. That might be good. Let's see here, because Binance is closing out its falling wedge pattern. Let's see if it breaks out upwards, like Harmony has. $2,444. That's easy to remember. Okay, the whole market is pumping upwards now on the 24 hours. Except for Binance isn't. Everything else is. Weird. Binance is resting at 309.27. It says I need to check my encoder settings. The keyframe interval is 2.766. I don't understand why that is. I haven't dropped any frames. My keyframe intervals, man. Keyframe, too. I got my bit rate up. I don't know, man. I don't know. It seems okay. 2438. Psst. Dude, don't fall out of my shoulder pattern, bitch. You're gonna piss me off. Because that will actually, if it does, it'll go into a falling wedge pattern, which will eventually go up anyway. It is in kind of a falling wedge pattern right now, but I'd rather just complete this, and it's not doing it. Everything's cooling off right now for some reason. Psst. Unreal. Why Celsius fell apart explained.
Financial freedom. It's what everyone wants. The ability to not worry about money, the
this.
ability to flex on people, and also sit on a beach for some reason with a laptop, which I'm sorry is a dumb fantasy. Sand and keyboards do not mix. All you've done is give yourself a terrible experience with both. Sorry to go on that weird tangent, but also it needed to be said. The point is that everyone wants financial freedom, and many people look to cryptocurrency as a new way to get it, because nobody trusts the monopoly man controlling the money printerino anymore, and because of that, a lot of new people have been happy to step in and promise to be the solution, the new monopoly man, if you will, but a better one, sort of. Enter Celsius, who we're talking about today, a company that takes crypto and also lends it, that pitched itself as being a new place to put your money and borrow money, but that's kind of not a bank. It calls itself a new economy, an economy where, quote, financial freedom doesn't come with a price tag, which sounds about as believable as a diet pill that gets you a six-pack without the exercise. But even so, Celsius's pitch was undeniably effective, promising up to 10% a year on your money. Since they opened their doors in 2017, they've taken in a grand whopping total of $25 billion worth in crypto. And for a while, things were going great. Right up until on June 12th, 2022, they suddenly collapsed without warning and froze withdrawals and went radio silent. And it has everyone wondering, how did this happen? Well, that is what we are trying to answer today. I've done a shorter video on this, which we'll link here, but this time we're gonna go much deeper down the rabbit hole, because I believe Celsius is unfortunately finished, insolvent, and I'm about to tell you why. It begins with one man and his vision.
You know, we need someone to help us with our financial accounts, with our financial life. And normally we trust people that we think are acting in our best interest. But what if these people are not acting in our best interest? What the banks really think is that because we have to trust them, we cannot trust somebody else. So they don't believe that a company like Celsius can exist, because who would be crazy enough to give their coins, their crypto, to somebody who's not a bank, right?
That is Alex Mashinsky, the creator of Celsius. He's critical to understanding the collapse of Celsius. And the first thing you should know about him is that he claims to have done a lot in his career. We can get a glimpse of just how many businesses Alex has had in his lifetime from a 1999 article which says this. He tried importing urea from Russia, selling Indonesian gold to Switzerland, and brokering poisonous sodium cyanide excavated from China for use by gold mines in the US. Now, all of these businesses failed, obviously, but the point is he's always been selling something. And probably the biggest thing he's been selling is one of his claims that says that he's the person who invented VoIP, voice over the internet protocol, something that I know you've used before, even if you've never heard of it. Things like WhatsApp use it. But this claim, it turns out, is actually a little bit exaggerated. Alex Mashinsky says he's one of the inventors, but all the records I could find on the history of VoIP suggest he wasn't the first to do it or even a key inventor at all. He has a patent that goes back to 1994, but VoIP was already a thing by then, with an app called Rascal in 1989. And he wasn't the first to monetize it either. A company called Vocal Tech was the first. But as you'll find, Alex doesn't let an inconvenient truth like that stop him. Instead, he pitches himself as a central piece of this technology, despite most histories of VoIP not even mentioning him. And this is a pattern of behavior of slightly stretching the truth. He claims, in fact, to be the inventor of a lot of things. He says he has patents that cover aspects of the smart grid, ad exchanges, Twitter, Skype, the App Store, Netflix's streaming concept. You'd think he basically invented the internet, actually. And in addition to him being this amazing inventor, another core part of his story seems to be that he's also a man of the people, not interested in money, but instead he's interested in fighting for the little guy and taking down mean old monopolies. This is his core pitch about VoIP, and also it's his new pitch today about banks.
So I fought the monopolies my entire life. I mean, I fought the phone companies. I fought all the different people who thought that it was a God-given right for them to charge high rates forever to all of us.
The
And
shoulder-head,
so VoIP was a great
shoulder
example of that,
pattern
right? Where basically we created a new technology, a new platform, completely decentralized, completely autonomous to the entire phone lines infrastructure, and it rode on the internet for free, right? So
So this is the douchebag that ripped me off, everybody. This is the fucking dumbass that ripped me off. Just saying. All right. Love y'all. Thanks for watching the show. I'll talk to you later. I will see you soon. Alrighty then. Fantastic times ahead. Bye, everybody. Oh, I'm at Nays Garden on Twitter.